Welcome to Lori's DIY Life. This is Lori. What I thought I would do for this video, since we spent some time watercoloring yesterday, is I thought we could have some fun with some watercolor backgrounds. So I just cut up 4 pieces of watercolor paper. It's not expensive paper, but I didn't go for a specific size or anything. I just figured we would do a fun, some quick fun things. So I just thought, oh yeah, we'll do that. Let me take these. Now I'm going to use these ink pads, stamp pads, whatever you want to call them. And I'm just going to lay some color down. And I want to make sure I have plenty of color down. If I'm going to use green, I'll use green later because green very easily turns into brown. Here's a light blue. We put some purple in there. This purple doesn't have much in it. Not much color there. I don't want the yellow. How about, I don't want the orange. Here's a darker blue. We'll try some of this darker blue. Okay. Maybe some red would be nice. So I'll stick some red down. Now I could do this with the pencils. I could do this with watercolor markers. Whatever, I just chose to, let's try the ink pads today, I thought. So I'm gonna, this is a Vicky Booten a water brush. This one is Diamond Press water brush. Anyways, I'm just gonna take and squeeze and drip some water on these. Swoosh that around. Clean my brush a little bit. Drop some water. Swoosh that around. Okay. Clean my brush a little bit. Normally I don't make them so wet, but you'll see why I'm doing this in a minute. Okay, now I'm going to get the dark blue and swoosh it around. Clean my brush. Get some of this light blue. Swoosh it around. And then I had the purple over here, but I didn't really see it. There's a tiny bit of purple, not much. Okay, now I'm going to take the big water brush. I'm going to make sure it's plenty wet for this. Normally you don't want it real wet, but I am going to wet the paper really well. I want the paper real wet. Now normally you would take a dropper or something like that, but I don't have time for that right now. And I'm gonna pick up some color and then drop it on the wet paper. And you want to do it while the paper's still wet. You don't want to let the paper dry because then the water doesn't move. Take some of the blue. Come on, blue. Drop for me. There we go. Some of the dark blue. I wish it wasn't bowing so bad. Okay, some of the purple. Get some more red. And I like to layer the colors. I don't know why, but I do. I like it layered and swirly, and you know, maybe I get the paper a little too wet, but that's just how I like it. I don't know if you can see how pretty that looks right now. It looks like I want to say a circus or a carnival or something. You know, it's that kind of bright. And you let the color soak in, and I'm going to do this quicker than you normally would, because you would want to let the color soak into the paper. But let me show you what I'm going to do in the meantime. I'm going to move this to the side while it's soaking in. I'm going to take this and swirl these colors together. Now, not too much, because you don't want to end up with like a brown or something like that, but you just want to kind of get them mixed in. Then you can take another one of the papers. Oh, let me take this one and just set it on your splotches. Okay, lift it up. Nope, needs something more. Okay, putting it down in the wet. Let it soak some up. I'm making a mess here, but it is a mess. Okay, can you see the colors in that? Okay, maybe you want more color. You just drop it back down. And pick it up. Now, to me, I want some more blue over here. I don't see a lot of blue. There's some purpley looking over here. Try that. Oh, it's getting too wet now, like the other one. Anyways, after you let this one sit and let the color soak in a little bit, then I like to take, make sure you put it all kind of move to the sides. I like to take and dab it with a paper towel and just kind of see what layers are underneath. Sometimes the layers color real well, sometimes they don't. Now, these are both really pastel-y looking, and of course it's gonna matter. It's almost you can't really tell, can you? Like a light pink with some real light blues marbled in. It didn't pick up enough of the dark colors. I was afraid of that. They were kind of sliding off more. This one's a little bit darker. Anyways, we're gonna let that sit a minute. We're gonna let this sit a minute, and I'm gonna wipe this off. Now, another thing we can do is take And this time I think I'm going to do I want to use the pads. You know what? I'm going to stick with the pads just for the people that don't have like watercolor pencils and stuff, because you know these ink pads didn't cost me hardly anything. So, you know, I went to Amazon and just put in assorted ink pads or colors or something like that's what I put in. Okay, so I pick a color I want, and I'm going to use this dark blue. And you want different colors, I don't know. Wait till you see this to see what you think. Because you might not. You might not want different colors. Okay, and it's watercolor. I'm going to drop some water in the color. And I'm going to wet the paper. Now, I've only done this technique a couple of times, so we'll have to see if it turns out right. Okay, now I got my colors. Now I'm going to take from the inside, and I'm just going to go around and around, and I'm just going to keep that swirl going around and around, and I'm going to get a little darker as I'm moving out, just a little darker as I'm moving out and around, and get darker as I'm moving out. But you still want color on the inside. You just want that color on the inside to not be as dark. So color it darker, darker. Okay, if I want it darker, it looks like I'm gonna have to put more color in, or I might have to add some purple. Okay, so I'm gonna take and get some color, and darker and darker around the outsides, and darker on the outer edges, darker, and as you move in it'll get lighter, and it will be darker, darker, darkest on the edges. I sound really weird, huh? I'm just trying to let you know what I'm thinking as I'm doing it. But what I'm trying to do is make it look like there's light coming from the center. And I'm not gonna mess with it too much more, but I just am gonna kind of pick up some of that color from the inside now, so that it stops soaking in the paper. Does that make sense? And you will end up with it looks like it needs more work, but when you put something there in the center, then it gives you get the effect better when you have your topper on. Okay, and so one more is all I'm gonna do. Let me get some more water in this big brush. I probably would, for most of these, not use a water brush most of the time. I am this time because I was only going to be doing the 4, and I just figured that I wouldn't need a lot of water, but I guess I was wrong. This paper is some paper that I really haven't used before. Now this is watercolor, but it's going to be a little more, what's the word? Controlled, I guess, is what you're gonna call it, what you would probably call it. And I'm just looking to see what colors. Okay. Well, we're gonna, of course, let me put some colors down. There's already plenty of blue. Let me get some orange here. I'm gonna want juicy colors, so if your pads are not juicy, don't use them. Some pink. Now you don't have to have a lot of the color, but what you do have, you want it to be juicy. Okay. And I'm gonna use the water from this pen so we don't use up all this big brush pen water. Okay, now I wanna, of course, because we're doing watercolor, I am going to wet the paper. And then I'm going to take the orange and just swoosh it. Okay. And then I'll move into the red and I'll swoosh it. And then I'll move into the pink and swoosh it. And now I'll move into the blue and swoosh it. And really, that's all there is to it. Now if you want to go back over the colors again, you can. You can go backwards. It makes it a little bit darker and richer. This is probably my most favorite to do. I don't know why, but it's just kind of relaxing, and then to see the colors blend and stuff, it's just relaxing. And then you just let that dry, and you have, it's probably a lot prettier than it looks in the camera from what I can see, what I can tell. It is prettier than how it looks. Now if you want, you can go in and if you can see where the colors are blending right here and stuff, see, that to me is pretty. And you never know what it's going to do with the papers and the different inks that you use. I like that. But sometimes, if it seems too strong, you can do like you did with the others and just come in and dab it and take some of that away and see. I thought I liked it before, and it might not be very dark and you might not be able to see very good, but it's got like a, stapled kind of, not stapled, steepled kind of look to it. And it turned out really pretty. I'm really impressed with this one. I love this one. This one turned out perfect. And then there's this one. And I don't know if you can tell, but it does look like there's some kind of light. And you're moving away from the light. Okay. This one, the color didn't soak in well enough. I don't know if it's this paper or those inks. It's probably this paper because it has a different feel to it. And then this one, I don't know if you can see, but it's very muted. Like, it's mostly like a really light pink. There's a little bit of blue marbled in, and some of it has purple going through, purple veins. Very light, though, but not quite as light as that one. See if you can see that. Okay, and then we have this one. That's what you need to see. You need to see it up against the white, maybe. And then this one. That's just beautiful. I'm going to use that on something. I can guarantee you I'm going to be using this one on something. Okay. That's going to be it. If you like this video and you want to join us for more fun, hit the subscribe and the notification button so that you'll know when my next videos come. And I hope to see you in my next video. Thank you.